Hello YouTube, or welcome back to another modblog episode with me, FS Farmyard Dog. Now today we do have a bit of a forestry special. We'll be looking at this forestry winch system, and also I am running two forestry based scripts. They are quite small, but they do add a lot of realism to the game. So you may notice some of the trees are marked with a red X. Much like in real life, you would mark the trees with the red X sort of in spray paint, and the Forestry Commission or tree surgeons would be able to see which trees to cut down and which trees to leave. Unfortunately, this mod only works with the pine trees, the ones sort of more designed to work with the forestry within the game. So the marks do stay even after cutting the trees down, which is nice, as it would be a shame to see them disappear. The only thing is, the marks are permanent once put on the tree and you're unable to remove them, so if you accidentally put a mark on, you would have to leave it. So you simply walk up to a tree and press M, and the tree would be marked with the red X. Sometimes this mod is a little bit temperamental if you're facing the wrong way on the tree, but most of the time it works perfectly, and it does add a lot of realism to the game and aesthetic value for your forestry. I think it looks very realistic, and I enjoy the look with all the trees marked. The other mod I'll be showing you, which is also another script mod, is sawdust when you cut the trees down. So this tree's been cut down, and you can see there's sawdust all around where the trunk was, and every cut that I've made there's sawdust. So this sawdust is able to be collected up. It does leave quite a lot once you bring 2 or 3 trees down, so you might be able to make quite a lot of money, and probably fill up 2 or 3 trailers if you were to sort of take this area of woodland down. I don't know how many of you guys have actually cut down a tree in real life, but chainsaws do create an awful lot of wood chip, a lot more than what you'd think. So I think it's quite realistic, the amount of wood chip you are able to collect off the floor. So if you cut a large area of forest down, I suppose you could simply get a larger bucket and do a quick round and collect up all of the wood chip. But if you don't want to do that, the bobcat or skid steer does work very well at quickly collecting up the wood chip. I'm not doing a very good job, but you can see the wood chip does collect up nice and easily, especially if you cleared the trunks away. So you do get a little bit more money for the trees, and again, aesthetically it does look very good, as when you cut a tree down you do get the wood chip animation, and the chips seem to just disappear in the normal game, but as you can see we've got a nice little pile. So going back to the pulley winch system, I will show you in the shop first so you can see the information. So it is the EGV 80 AHK. It will cost £4,500 to buy. It has a small daily maintenance of £10 per day, and you need a tractor with at least 70 horsepower to use. So you can use a nice small tractor, which is good because we're able to use the forestry style steyr with no problem. As for the model, it does look very good. There's no clip whatsoever, and everything looks really nice. There's a lot of attention to detail, to the point that the 3-point hitch has the pulley system, the sort of chains going around, which would drive the winch, which I really do like. And personally, one of my favourite bits, you can see the hydraulic hoses go into this section, and you've even got a small pressure gauge, and a warning light if the pressure is too high. Again, the detail does not lack. Even on the back you've got the sort of shovel system, and you can see the MIG welded areas all along there, and you can see sort of how rough the weld is, which is very realistic to these sort of large industrial machinery. You do have the option to remove the hitch with O, and it pops it just on these 2 brackets here. So if I put it back on, I've missed it now, there we go. You even do have to be in the right position, you have to have your cursor in the right place for it to clip over, but they just sit on those 2 little pegs there. So in respect, it has a lot of nice extra features. With that hitch on, you are able to pull the full wood chip. If you had a larger tractor, this would work a lot better, as it would be less, would be further off the ground. However, it does work with this tractor just as much. Again, you are able to pull all the trailers, which wasn't expected. I did think that you would only be able to pull the dolly tractors, or trailers rather, but you are able to pull the fixed axle as well. So it is very versatile. So I have cut this tree up into a few sections. Now if I get the help menu up to show you, if you press shift and then G, it activates the winch system, and hopefully if I go back here you can see on the help menu I'm 54.3 meters away from the winch itself, so I have 60 meters of winch to clip to the trees, and you can see once clipped on you do get a nice sound effect, and the pulley system goes into all the correct places, follows itself down there and onto the tree branch, and we've even got sort of the full clips and chain going around the tree. You can clip as many branches or logs up as you want, so if I do this one as well, you can see the chain is then clipped onto the original clip, onto the next branch or log, and it all comes down to one chain, so it doesn't have hundreds of chains all over the place, it all links onto one chain. So I'll test it with that, and as you can see, if you look at this sort of guidance area, it does move accordingly to where the logs are. So if you turn on the pulley system, you get a nice working noise, and then if you hold shift and Z, you can see the trees are brought together, or logs are brought together, and they one by one, in the order that you click them together, come up towards the pulley system, and you're able to easily drag them into a loading area. The more logs you clip on, the further the chain will be away from you. That is something to bear in mind, but this system does work very, very well. As I said, this system here, the sort of guidance for the pulley, does move. Again, another very realistic feature. So when you want to take the logs off, you then click B again, and everything is untied and all the logs are loose to be worked with again. So it's a very easy system to use and very fun. I have clipped up a few more logs over here on this pulley system to show that it can do very harsh gradients. So if I turn on the system with the key B and Control and Z, here we go. It is bringing the slack so far, and you can see that the wire is fed up perfectly through the system there, and hopefully I haven't put too many logs on, but this was really done to test how many logs it can actually handle. You can see how many chains are going off into all the different directions, and it's basically lifting an entire tree. So the process is a lot slower when you have more weight on, but of course that is more realistic. And of course you can speed up the process by driving forward. However, I would not recommend that if you don't want it to be very jolty and quite unrealistic. I don't think you'd be driving around if you had the winch system on, as winches can be very, very dangerous, and especially if they ping out or whatnot. So even pulling an entire tree up the bank here, and it's quite a steep bank, the winch system does work perfectly, and it's a lot slower process than on the flat ground than what we had earlier. But I would recommend using 1, 2 or 3 logs depending on the size. 3 is a maximum, as you sort of get this really, really long chain system. So the winch did snap out a little bit there, and we have lifted up the tractor a little bit, but it does still work even with the small steyr to bring all the logs out of a small tight area. So like I say, I definitely would not recommend loading this many logs on, but I did want to do it in the video just to show you that it is capable, although less realistic. So I hope you have enjoyed this mod blog sort of forestry special. If you fancy like downloading any of the scripts that you've seen in this video, the links will be in the description as always, and if you fancy like downloading the winch system, the links will be in the description as normal if you're unable to find it on the official mod hub. I hope you've enjoyed this video, thanks for watching and bye for now.